Hello, everybody. Welcome to New Booger Presents The Fish Hobby. How's everybody doing today? I'm New Booger, and we're here to talk about a new hobby that I've decided to get into, and that is the fish hobby. If you do not know what the fish hobby is, it is essentially when you buy aquariums, you take care of fish because you enjoy looking at fish, staring at fish, and everything else. The point of these videos is, the first thing I will mention is I am not an expert of fish. I am not an expert of aquarium keeping. I am not an expert by any means, and I have barely dabbled in it in the past. The reason that I'm making these particular videos is I've decided to have everyone experience it with me. So you can see from a beginner that just kind of is starting out in the fish hobby, venturing into becoming an expert, maybe, you know, a few years down the road or whatever. So, yes, I'm new to it. I have in the past, taken care of fish tanks. I've done a few here and there. I had a 10 or 20 gallon back a long time ago. My wife, I think, had a 5, and then well, that was unsuccessful. I had no knowledge. I didn't know what I was doing. I guess YouTube was prominent back in that day, but not as prominent as it is nowadays. So, and then and I didn't have any friends, right? I didn't have, well, I have friends. Okay. I have friends. Anyways, I didn't have friends that took care of fish, and really didn't know much about the fish hobby themselves. So, needless to say, back in that day, it was not successful for me. Then I got, a couple years later, we decided that we try it again with glowfish. And in that respect, was more successful, maybe. It's still very unexperienced that we were. There was things that we didn't know. We kept those fish. They did survive, but still at the same time, I think we weren't experienced. You know, we didn't know the little tips and tricks, nicks, and everything else. Then we got into now I'd probably say about 5 or 6 years later. Now here I am again taking care of fish. As you can see behind me right here, I do have a 5-gallon fish tank. I have an 8-gallon 2 beta tanks, and now I have a 36-gallon tank as well. I wanted to kind of make this video because I just probably about 2 weeks ago got the 36-gallon tank. Let's just say I ignored all everyone told you about cycling the tank. Now, I'm not going to go too big into details about cycling a fish tank right now, but the basics are fish poop or loose food at the bottom create what's called ammonia. Ammonia goes into nitrite, and then nitrite turns into nitrate. Now, you do that by using beneficial bacteria to do what's called the cycling process. That's basically the cycling process in a nutshell. Well, me being me and being stubborn, did not cycle the tank before I added fish. Now, as a beginner, if you're coming into the fish keeping hobby, I highly recommend cycling your tank before adding fish. And here's why. Because I, being who I am, ignored everybody, which was a big mistake. I tried to cycle a 36-gallon tank with fish in it. And it's been probably the most stressful week of my life because of how many fish I had. Now, in a nutshell, about for my birthday, my wife decided to buy me a 36-gallon tank. And so we got the 36-gallon tank. I filled it up. I let it go for a couple days. And then I decided to implement fish. Now, I implemented fish in the course of 3 or 4 days. Now, before that, we had got a glowfish tank. It is an 8-gallon tank with glowfish in it. And I cycled that tank fairly easily with fish. Okay. It was a smaller tank. It was easier to maintain. The reason that I say that is if you're going to get a small tank, like this 5-gallon tank right here, these tanks are easier to cycle with fish. Why? The main reason why, when you're starting off in the fish hobby itself, what you're going to be starting off is with a small siphon hose with buckets. To siphon this tank, or to do what's called a water change in this tank, I can do that with a small 2-gallon bucket. It's not hard for me to water change this tank at 50%, we'll say, for an example, with a 2-gallon bucket, 2.5 right there. That's 50% of my water. So something like this is easy to water change. Why do I say that? So if you do a in-fish cycle is what it's called. If you do that, you are going to have to change your water 30% to 50% every day. Every day. If you're trying to do that with a 2.5-gallon bucket and a 36-gallon tank, that is a process. It is a lot of back and forth, a lot of carrying a heavy bucket back and forth. It's just not fun. You're not going to have tools, someone who has, you know, we'll say 10 years of experience, accumulated tools over time to be able to do water changes easily. You're just getting into this hobby. What you're thinking in your head is, I just need this bucket, and I can put some water in this, or I need 2 buckets, and that's how I'm going to do it. No, not one big tanks like that. So, sorry, I kind of went off. So, back when I got the glowfish tank, probably about 2 months ago at this point, I had what's called an ammonia spike. So, essentially, I implemented fish, ammonia spiked, but it was easy to keep up on the maintenance that I needed to within those, you know, that week that it took me to cycle that tank, or 2 weeks to cycle that tank. Because all I had was a 2.5-gallon bucket. I could prepare water. It wasn't hard for me. I was able to keep up with the water changes that I need to keep the fish happy, so they weren't suffering, and easy. That 36-gallon tank was a struggle for me. It was stressful. I was sweating every time I had to do water change. I wasn't doing as big of water changes as I wanted. You know, I wanted to do 50% water changes on it when the ammonia spike hit, and I realized with a 2.5-gallon bucket back and forth into my bathtub was not easy, and it was stressful. The chemicals that I bought, or I don't want to say chemicals, but the beneficial bacteria that I bought didn't work. So a lot of people will tell you to go with API Quick Start. It's a main brand. All stores have it, and it was not helping. API Quick Start did not help my cycling. Okay. API does sell good products, and I'm not complaining about that, because I have a API water testing kit. I have API stress coat, API it cure. I have API products. The Quick Start, it does not help. It does not. I'm sorry. I don't care who you are. You can tell me otherwise. It does not help. Because it was not helping, the ammonia in my tank was not going away. With the 8-gallon tank, now With the 8-gallon tank, I was able to get it quick. It cycled. That tank is completely cycled. I've had no problems with that tank. The glowfish, I mean, glowfish tetras and glowfish danios, they're very hardy fish. Anyway, not that I'm saying that the fish that I have in my current 36-gallon tank aren't hardy fish. You know, I also didn't want my fish to suffer. Sorry, I'm an animal lover, whether it's fish back here, upstairs, dogs, cats. I'm an animal lover. I don't like seeing animals suffer. So it was a very stressful time. So that led me to make this video. And probably the videos that come after this. You know, I'll kind of go over the nitrogen cycle. Go over what I do for maintenance for small to big. But if you're going to get into the fish hobby, I highly recommend, and this is coming from someone who just kind of went through all this BS, right? If you're gonna get into the fish hobby, I highly recommend getting products like ammonia. You can buy ammonia in a bottle, and the ammonia in the bottle you put in your tank, and that allows you to kind of quick start the nitrogen cycle. You can't just get a tank and let it sit for a month and expect that you're going to cycle your tank. I highly recommend, do not implement fish until you feel as though your nitrogen cycle has started. But what I recommend, when you get your tank, get some bottled ammonia that you can get for your aquarium, and get Seachem Stability. Seachem Stability is what saved my tank, in my opinion. Okay. Seachem Stability is essentially what it is it's a bottle, not sponsored, but it's a bottle of beneficial bacteria that you for 7 days you put it in your tank. It builds up that beneficial bacteria that turns the ammonia into nitrite, that then also turns nitrite into nitrates, which are more non-toxic to your fish. Okay, and we can, like I said, I can go over, I'll probably go over some like what are water changes, how do you do water changes, stuff like that in this series of videos. I really wanted to start adding some more content. I'm sorry, everybody. Yes, I realize I haven't added content to my channel in a while. I've been working with Schmucks Club, and so there's that, then work, and you know, just personal life, everything. But yeah, when you start off a tank as a beginner, buy a bottle of ammonia, buy some Seachem Stability, put your ammonia in, let your ammonia build up, and for 7 days put in Stability. Monitor your ammonia levels, monitor your nitrite levels, and once you watch as your ammonia levels go down to 0, and then your nitrite goes down to 0, and then your nitrates are produced, then implement your fish. At the end of the day, you're going to appreciate it. It's going to save you so much time. It's going to save you so much heartache with your fish. Okay. We, as a new fish enthusiast, as someone who's made the mistake in coming here and making this video, do not make the mistakes that I have made. Get your fish tank, set up your substrate, your plants, and everything else. Okay, put your water in, get it all set up and ready. Buy a bottle of ammonia, put it in there, get some Seachem Stability, follow the directions of the Seachem Stability, then implement fish. It will take, I want to say it's going to take you probably about a week to cycle your tank, and your tank won't be fully cycled, so you're still going to have to monitor your ammonia levels, your nitrite levels, and your nitrate level. It won't be completely cycle, but it'll be at a safe stage where you can implement your fish. The beneficial bacteria in your tank will be able to keep up your tank's stability, essentially. So the other thing I also recommend that I think really help, if you have smaller tanks, so if you're going, you know, let's just say you're doing like a 5, a 10, a 20, a 30, I highly recommend sponge filters. I know they're ugly. I really feel like the hang on the back, and I'm not dissing the hang on the back filters. They work great. Depending on which one you get, you can't really add biofiltering in there. And what biofiltering is they typically the little like ceramic balls and stuff that you can put in the hang on the back filter, and it's a place where beneficial bacteria can really grow onto and go through your tank and really help your tank. Unless you're doing something like that, not that like top fin, like not like these filters are bad, it's just they don't have a place where you can really put that stuff in. I mean, I guess you really could, but I don't know. If you get a smaller tank like this, they sell little mini sponge filters that you can put in the tank. If you're doing a 10, you can buy a little bit bigger of a sponge filter. Sponge filters are a beautiful place where bacteria loves to grow. It really helps your tank out. I really recommend grabbing it. And that's really the place where I recommend going until you start getting into, like, you know, 50, 75, 125 gallon tanks. Once you're starting to get up there, you're going to need hang on the back, canister, sumps. You really don't need, I personally, unless you're getting into really big ones, you really don't need a sump. But get ammonia. Get beneficial bacteria from either C-Chem Stability or Fritz or whatever. Put your ammonia in. Start cycling that tank. Wait a week to 2 weeks. Implement fish. When you implement the fish, take your C-Chem Stability or your Fritz. And I honestly recommend just doing another week of the beneficial bacteria. It might cost you a little bit extra, but it's gonna really make sure that the biofiltering in your tank really can keep up with the bio load that's happening in that tank. Don't make my mistake. Listen to what I have to say. Do not screw up like I did. All right. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like. If you enjoyed the information I provided, there'll be more, so hit that subscribe. Share the video if you know anyone who's starting out and like me, and kind of warn them about the mistakes that I have made so that they don't have to make those mistakes and they can actually enjoy their tank instead of fighting with their tank like I have. I'm now at a level where I can enjoy watching my fish, not feel as though my fish are suffering, and actually enjoy the fish and have them be the stress reliever that I was hoping they would be, instead of being the stressing agent. All right, really appreciate you all. Thank you for watching Noob Booger Presents. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy the rest of your week, enjoy your life, love each other. Have a good one.